With that, we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Tim Smith, and I'm the Vice President of Global Talent Strategy for Basis Overseas Educational Services. Joined by Michael Holtquist, who is International Recruiter with Basis Overseas Educational Services as well. Works at recruiting and interviewing teachers across all of our international schools within the Basis International. We'll go ahead and get started. For our presentation tonight, we'll be covering some of the aspects of the Basis Curriculum Schools Network to give you an idea of the schools that we do have, some of who we are, aspects of our curriculum. We'll touch on some of the reasons why many of the teachers do choose to teach internationally, some things that motivate the individuals. We also want to share with you some of the insights and perspectives that some of our teachers have had who've taught internationally and taught within the Basis International Schools. We'll touch on some of the details about our schools, first with our school in Thailand, and then we'll touch on each of the schools that we do have in China. Lastly, we'll cover the application process as well as some of the details of how you can stay connected with Basis International Schools, be able to communicate, express interest or ask additional questions as things may come up somewhere down the road. We appreciate you taking the time to join us tonight. To start off, the Basis Curriculum Schools Network is a network of schools that use the Basis curriculum as the foundation of as well as the overall course sequence. Basis curriculum started in Arizona with charter schools, quickly became well known within the United States of having some of the top ranked schools across the entire country. We've then grown from there to add independent schools and expanded then international. Significant interest in the academics of the Basis curriculum, expanded internationally. So right now, as part of the Basis Curriculum Schools Network, international schools and Basis independent schools comprise the 12 tuition-based private schools, Basis Curriculum Schools Network. We have 7 international schools outside the U.S. and 5 independent schools within the United States, 2 in California, 2 in New York, and 1 in Northern Virginia. As far as the Basis curriculum abroad goes, it is the same curriculum that we run in the United States. Curriculum is designed to truly provide a strong foundation of disciplinary knowledge that fuels critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity within our students. We want to be able to provide them with the skills and knowledge of how to pursue their interests, not just in their primary and secondary education or even going on to university, but also how to continue to evolve their interests and how to pursue those interests with passion, continue their learning throughout their life. The curriculum is AP infused, and it's an integrated liberal arts focused education. With AP infused, one of the things that we do is we do use AP courses as internationally benchmarked courses as part of the curriculum. But one of the things that we do is that the AP courses are not the apex of the education that we do provide, but we do have post-AP courses in each of the core subjects to be able to allow students to continue to pursue those interests at even higher levels, similar to what you'd see in later courses in university education. The program is a rigorous, accelerated, academic-based program. It's really designed to help students build the learning practices that they'll need and also help them understand how to apply the critical thinking to various situations and across various subjects. It is something that, because of the rigor and the accelerated pace, one of the things that we do look for in our teachers is really engaged and interested in their subjects, can appreciate both the fundamental aspects, topics within a subject, and also understand some of the application. One of the things that the curriculum is really well known for is that we really do hire teachers who have deep subject expertise. Because of that, they're trusted and they're given a fair bit of academic freedom to determine how to teach their classes. We really want what it is that excites you about your subject, the topics within that subject. You can really kind of capture the interest and curiosity of the students to get them engaged, and the engaged classrooms are something that's very typical within the basis curriculum schools and what we want to see, because as students become engaged, not only do they learn more, but it's that much more enjoyable to teach. This very highly collaborative environment. Working together with peers within the teaching community of our schools is something that is both common and one of the things that many of our teachers enjoy the most about working within basis international schools. When I speak with teachers at our schools, one of the things that I constantly hear in terms of what they enjoy the most about working within our schools is the quality of the peers that they have that are part of the teaching community. Interesting individuals who are very knowledgeable, not only about their subjects, but also just the craft of teaching and education and getting students engaged. And the learning that teachers have within the schools from their peers through additional professional development. Comments that I receive quite frequently is the type of peers that they do have. It's a very collaborative environment where people share their best practices together. And they're coming from all over the world. Things we mentioned before, it's the same curriculum that we do have in our top performing and top ranked schools in the United States. Slight nuances and changes for the foreign languages that are taught within our schools, as well as some cultural nuances based on the locations where the schools are. Sometimes it's maybe a little bit more in-depth instruction on the language, as well as some cultural or historical requirements based on where our schools are located. International schools were first opened in 2015. International School was opened in Shenzhen, China, which is in the southern Guangdong province, just across the bay from Hong Kong. When we opened, because of the reputation of base schools in the United States, both the quality of the education as well as the rankings that the schools had, there was very high interest in our first school. It was the largest first-year opening of an international school in the history of southern China. And in the second year, we had nearly 900 students on the waiting list. It just has continued as we've moved forward and grown, opened up additional schools. 6 schools this year in China and in Thailand. Our school in Shenzhen being the first, Guangzhou, Hangzhou, Parkland Harbor, and Nanjing are other locations we have in China. Parkland Harbor is a coastal resort community you'll hear about a little bit later on in the presentation. It's in the municipality of Huizhou, about 60 to 90 minutes east of Shenzhen on the southern China. This year we did also open our first school in Thailand, which is in Bangkok. You see there in the bottom left. We're really excited to see that school continue to grow as well. Upcoming school year in 2020, we will be opening our first bilingual school within the Basis International Schools Network. This will be a school in Shenzhen, China. It will be located in the Futian Central Business District. It's an area where many organizations have corporate headquarters as well as headquarters within the Shenzhen area. And this will be our largest first-year school in China. We'll be opening with over 500 students. It's through grade 5, and the school will continue to grow to become pre-K through grade 8, reaching a capacity of 1,200 students at that particular location. Excited about that particular school. We'll hear a little bit more details about the other schools a little bit later on. The school network that we do have comprises the schools currently in Asia. We have plans for future expansion, both across Asia, as well as growing into Europe. What this represents is that being a part of the Basis International Schools Network means that there'll be new, challenging opportunities that do arise. Individuals want to grow their career or take on additional opportunities or a new adventure. There's new environments, different places, and opportunities that do abound within the organization. Particularly do like to have individuals with experience within the Basis to be able to take on new opportunities as we open new, be it leading a department or taking on different types of responsibilities, whether it be in administration or working as a lead or mentor teacher to other teachers that are learning the basis curriculum as well. There's a lot of growth opportunity because of the expansion that we have coming up over the next several years. Why teach internationally? Things that we do see and motivations for people to consider teaching internationally include, one thing is that, the experience that you would have is being a part of a culture where education is highly valued. Teachers are greatly respected. One of the things I hear a lot from our teachers is that they feel so much more appreciated where they are, where, again, education is very valued. And teachers, in many cases, are just as respected as doctors or lawyers within that particular culture. And so they are valued for exactly what is they're doing, and they see the value in what the impact they're able to have within their students as they continue to grow. Certainly, as we mentioned just a moment ago, there's tremendous growth opportunities, particularly within our organization as we continue to expand. There will be new opportunities, but it's also a chance to learn from peers that come from all over the world. People will come with experience in different curricula and different cultures and different nationalities, and there's different perspectives that you're able to pick up and learn from peers that have a very diverse array of different types experiences and background and expertise. Be able to kind of add to your repertoire of how you get students engaged and learning through their education. Also, as working as an expat in a foreign country, you really become part of a close knit teachers. And that's something that we see is that the level of support that you receive from your peers is certainly elevated from what most people experience within the States or most home countries where they are. You have a chance to live very close to individuals. A lot of times our teachers are in the same one or two apartment complexes. And so that gives a chance to really get to know your peers and the level of support, again, that's provided amongst each other is frequently one of the top comments I hear. See new locations, new countries, new cultures, experience those cultures, and see some of the rich experiences that individuals from different backgrounds are able to provide. Be able to be a part within Basis International Schools of really raising the bar of academics in international education and be part of growing Basis as we grow globally. Financial benefits. One of the things that we do see is that I know it is the case in the U.S. as well as parts of Europe, certainly in Australia, New Zealand. Many times, being an educator can be a financially difficult career choice. But expat in our international schools, not only do you have a very fair and sometimes rather generous salary, but housing is also provided. There are travel benefits as well. They're provided. We do have schools in China. We also have the retirement benefit. And so not having the burden of housing, of car, vehicle expenses, a lot of individuals are able to save up, pay off, student loans or other type of obligations that they might have, be able to put themselves in a much better financial situation than they otherwise would have if they were teaching States or in their home country. One of the things that's unique with working with the Basis Curriculum Schools Network is that those individuals that are from the United States and want to repatriate back to the States are actually able to do that within the Basis Curriculum Schools Network. You can be part of an internal transfer and be given priority consideration for open positions at any of our schools within the network, which we continue to expand within the United States. We think are very important to be aware of in considering an opportunity with Basis International Schools. First off, our contracts are set up for a 3-year foreign assignment. They are 3 years. Occasionally, based on some circumstances and situations, the schools may consider a 2-year contract. For the most part, our contracts are 3-year contracts. We really want teachers to be able to have that 3rd year to be able to have a 1st year acclimating, learning the curriculum, 2nd year continuing to grow, and 3rd year really reaping the benefit of those first 2 years that you've invested in yourself in the new country where you are. Something else that's important to know is that our international schools really do have mostly local students And what that means is that English is a second language for the vast majority of those students. And so being aware of that and how that could potentially impact the way that you teach and some things you need to be aware of in how you prepare your instruction, the types of approaches that you do take to your instruction and working with students may be different than what you might have experienced if you haven't worked with many students that are English language learners. Fourth item is that the schools, for the most part, are 2 years or newer and growing rapidly. What that means as the schools are growing is that there will be significant change. And when a school opens with 500 or 600 students and grows to be 1,200 students within just a couple of years, it's very different second or third year than it was in the first year. There will be differences in grades that are provided, the size of the student population, the number of peers that you work with, potentially some of the responsibilities that you handle. And so we need individuals who are flexible, who are open to change, who are willing to adapt, and take on new challenges. New schools and growing schools do require a lot of attention and work. And so we need people who can really roll up their sleeves and be willing to pitch as the schools continue to. Lastly, something that is really important to us in considering the care of all of our students, especially the students of our expat teachers, is that if teachers do have children that would be accompanying them, making sure that the students really are ready for basis level education is really important to us. We do recognize that the basis curriculum is rigorous, that the accelerated pace may not be for everybody. And so making sure that your students are ready and prepared to take on the basis education is very important because we don't want any students to feel overwhelmed. We don't want students to feel like they're failing or falling behind too quickly. And ultimately, that could certainly impact your work as a teacher if at home your children are really struggling too much to stay up with the pace that we do have. And that we're very conscientious of and want people to certainly consider and take into account as they do consider opportunities within our. Some of the experiences of our teachers that we'd like to share. First off, we have Dan Snyder. Dan Snyder is an economics teacher and college counselor at the National School in Guangzhou. He's one of the founding faculty members there, and he's shared a couple of insights. First, he says, basis teachers are driven, and it attracts hardworking colleagues. Of all my schools I've worked at in China, this is the best group of teachers I've had to work with. Never had a group of students I've enjoyed so much. Kids are not only smart and hardworking, but they're funny and creative, which I have not seen in my other previous schools. I think a lot of that comes from the great teachers that we have really drawing that out in the students as well. Sure. Dr. Bryn James started with us as a history teacher, has recently taken on a new as the upper school director at Basis International School in Hangzhou. He shares, the kind of support I have at Basis is primarily based on having a subject advisor. I have an experienced teacher who provides help in structuring the course. Anytime I have questions or inquiries, I can send them an email and they always get back very quickly. He adds, I would consider Basis really strongly because of the school's reputation, a network of schools that is globally incredibly highly ranked. We've also had a number of individuals that have transferred from the Basis schools in the United States. And some of their thoughts include from Rachel Zanardi. She was in administration as a curriculum coordinator at one of our schools in San Antonio, Texas. She's currently moved into a recruiting role in the school in Shenzhen and works with the schools across all of China. She says, I've enjoyed living in China because of all the vast cultural opportunities it has afforded me and my daughter. I don't know if I would have moved abroad had it not been with a Basis school. I don't think moving to the other side of the world is something I would have had the courage to take on if I wasn't staying with Basis and know that I was part of the Basis network and the Basis family. One of our primary school teachers, Ariel Rosenthal, she was a learning expert teacher at Basis Scottsdale Primary and transitioned to be a subject expert teacher in her role at Basis International School in Shenzhen. Her insight saying, the fact that I was already working for Basis made it easy to transfer here because I was still going to be working at a Basis school. Life has been very easy. Honestly, it's been very easy to adjust to living here. The comfort knowing that I can return back to the United States and that I can be at a basis. So for the upcoming 2020 school year, the locations that we do have include Thailand, China. We currently have 5 schools in China, adding the 6th. We'll continue with the school there in Thailand. To hear some of the more specific detail,
everybody. So as Tim said, I'll be able to provide you guys some insights into the particular locations and particular campuses that we have. First school that we wanted to highlight was our Basis International School Bangkok Campus. They just opened up this August for the first time, so we're really excited to see how they're growing and progressing in their first. And Bangkok itself is an incredibly modern city with a very deep cultural root underlying that. And our school itself is located in what's called the Rama 2 area. It's kind of a suburb in the southeast portion of the city. So it's close to the downtown Bangkok. You have easy access to get there, but you're away from a lot of the hustle and bustle that you can find in the center of it. Our Basis International School Bangkok, it's definitely our most state-of-the-art campus. It's the things that they've built there for this campus are absolutely incredible to see. And it's a very large campus. We have many, as you can see, we have multiple buildings filled with learning spaces, multiple classrooms, multiple different types of classrooms, labs and different facilities for different activities, that type of thing, and nearly 5 acres of sports field. So it's a very large campus. Teachers go and work at our school in Bangkok. We do have the expat package they receive includes a moving allowance. We provide airfare to and from Thailand for all of our teachers and their families at the beginning end. There's fully furnished housing, which is actually right across the street from campus. We provide all our teachers, as well as there's an option for a housing stipend. When our teachers are there and say, hey, we'd like to move to a different part of the city, there's a housing allowance to do that. We provide breakfast and lunch every school day at the school for our teachers. Our teachers' health care, as well as provide a tuition for children. And at the end of the assignment, there is that completion bonus for all the basis teachers there at National. Moving on to China, which is where we have the bulk of our schools. As Tim was saying, our first school was Basis International School Shenzhen. And Shenzhen is basically is the high-tech center and almost the Silicon Valley of China. It's kind of this forerunner of the modern Chinese economy. And where our school is located is in what's called the Shekou area. Shekou is a very expat-friendly area, a 15, 20-minute walk to the ferries that take you into downtown Hong Kong. So it's very easy to get to Hong Kong. And with Bangkok, as Tim was saying earlier, was our first international school. Was the largest first-year school in international school in the history of southern China. And it's continued to grow from this last spring. We had our first full graduating class from there in Shenzhen. So we're really excited to see how those students are doing this year at universities here in the US. Second international school opened in 2017. It was Basis International School Guangzhou. And Guangzhou is actually the 3rd largest city in China. Our school is located in the eastern suburbs of the city. And, so it doesn't feel like you're in such a large city. It's an area with a lot of parks and green spaces and walk area. And it's a very good location for families because you have all the amenities of a large city. But again, it's much more a family-friendly area. Basic International School Guangzhou is actually our first boarding school. First boarding program there, running 5-day boarding for some of our students. And within China and actually around the world, Guangzhou is known as gastronomic center of China. It's actually UNESCO recognized as one of the gastronomic capitals of the world, in that center of Canton. To open up 2 more schools there in China. And the first of those was Basis International School Parkland Harbor. Parkland Harbor is in the the city of Guangzhou, in a resort area, about 90 minutes or so from Hong Kong. Basis International School Parkland Harbor was our first all boarding school. We have a 5-day boarding program. And being in a resort town, you kind of have the amenities of that resort area. The beach is only about maybe a quarter mile from campus. Access to hiking and biking, and especially water sports. Water sports are a big draw for people to go to Parkland Harbor. And it is physically our largest campus. It has a very large footprint, and outdoor activities, in addition to our largest indoor campuses as well. In 2022, opened our first international school outside of southern China, outside the Guangdong province. We opened up Basis International School Hangzhou. Basis International School Hangzhou is about an hour from Shanghai, and Hangzhou is interesting because it's both historic and modern. Historically, Hangzhou was one of the early capitals of China, and it's been named those beautiful cities of China, but it's also the center of growing Chinese economy, where you have a lot of international corporations like Alibaba, Tencent, and Baidu all headquartered there. And so it's a growing city as well. And to me, that's what makes it really interesting as a city to live in, because you do have the best of all worlds. Where our school is in, it's called the New City area, about a mile from downtown. But that area, it's got big broad streets, it's got tall buildings. It feels very easy to get around, very expat friendly in that area. However, just about 10-minute DD ride from the school, and that's what people typically think of when they think of a Chinese downtown. Smaller streets and that type of thing. 10 minutes beyond that, you have Westlake. And Westlake is, just like the name implies, it's a large lake area with the lake, with mountains and hiking trails and a number of things to go there. And so you have all this within easy access, so you can really get kind of the best of all those different areas in Hangzhou. Last month, we opened up Basis International School Nanjing, and we're really excited to see Basis International School open up, because Nanjing is that traditional educational center of China. Nanjing was the former capital of China, and it's got an incredibly deep cultural heritage. And where our school is physically located there, we're in the University Park area. So we're near Nanjing University and Nanjing Normal University. But we're still only about a 25-minute metro ride into downtown. So again, you have the center of education that our teachers are in and our students are in there. In Bangkok, there's a very extensive expat package there in China. We provide, again, that moving allowance for all of our teachers to help you guys move over there. We provide airfare for our teachers and their families to and from China at the end of their assignment. That fully furnished, fully paid housing, as well as that housing allowance option for teachers that decide they'd rather do that instead. Breakfast and lunch every school day for all of our teachers and their children that go to school. They're at the school. Annual return home allowance for teachers there in China. This return home allowance is what teachers use to go back to visit family over breaks and over summer and all that time. We'd also provide healthcare coverage for our teachers and their families there in China. And that healthcare coverage covers not just China, but it covers the rest of the world as well. We'd also provide tuition waiver for up to 2 children. So that way, if you have school-age children, it'd be a tuition for them, so that way they could go to school with you. As well as we provide our teachers a 10% bonus per year on their salary for retirement. And then just like Bangkok as well, at the end of that assignment, there is that completion. And that's when teachers and their families have that option to say, I really like where I'm at, let me stay here. Or I'd like to try a new experience, I'd like to try a new city within the Basis network. I'd like to transfer them amongst all the Basis schools and continue to grow their career and their experiences that way. kind of gets into what we look for in our teachers. And the first thing we look for our teachers, we look for teachers that are true experts in what they teach. For all of our math teachers, we look for teachers that have that degree in math. Chemistry and chemistry, biology, art and art, English and English. That's the first thing. We look for teachers that are really experts in what they do. Same thing on the elementary school side. We look for elementary teachers. We look for teachers that are experts in teaching and in pedagogy, especially for young children. Additionally, all of our teachers in international schools have at least 2 recent full-time classroom teaching experience. So we can make sure we bring everyone to China, to Thailand on the correct visa. So those are kind of the hard and fast things we look for in our teachers. The big things we really look for teachers is first off, that passion for your sub teaching, that passion for your students. Because the big thing we want to get across is for the students is that desire for learning and that excitement for. And when students can see their teachers are excited about what they're teaching and excited about what they're doing, it really rubs off on them and gets them excited. Going on with that passion is that it really engage those students, get them to make those big leaps and to really be able to work above grade level. Because if we can provide those students, those teachers that are experts, those teachers to really engage the students in a way that works best for them, it's just incredible to see what the students can do. To do this, it does take hard work. Our teachers do work very, very hard. And they work very hard because, again, they have that excitement, they have that passion, and they want to create that class that is really unique to their students. And with this as well, as Tim was saying, international education is definitely growing. And here at Basis, we want to be those leaders that help to make it grow, but make it grow in a way that is really conducive for student success. Not just student success in those AP exams or student success in getting into the college they're looking for, that type of thing, but student success ability to, when they get to those colleges, to be successful there from their first day. And really be able to kind of be those kind of leaders of what comes next. And to do all this, it takes that collaboration. It takes teachers willing to work together. And so we look to hire teachers. We look for teachers that aren't just okay with collaboration, but teachers who are actively looking for it. That's one of the most incredible things that you can gain working internationally is you work with colleagues from everywhere around the world. Every curriculum, every system, every country, every approach, there's some things to do that work just incredibly well and some things they can struggle with. As we want teachers to collaborate, not just amongst their peers at their school, but at all the schools, and be able to kind of take all those different ideas and really blend them together to highlight the strengths they'll have. The question now comes kind of what to do next. And so for all of our careers and all of our job listings, they're posted on our website, jobs.basisinternationalschools.com. And we welcome everyone to submit their resume, to submit their information there for any of those positions. You can also email us as well at careers@basisinternationalschools.com. And that email will reach out to us directly as well with any additional questions.
So if you are interested to get more insights and find out some more details about Basis International Schools, some of what it's like to be at our schools, to teach at our schools, to live in China, to live in Thailand, a couple things you can do. Number one, you can join our interest list. By joining the interest list, you'll receive updates on our schools, about some of the happenings at the schools, and some of the new opportunities that do come up across the schools. The link to be able to join the interest list is jobs.basisinternationalschools.com/interest. Something else you can do is view our blog. The blog is, for the most part, it's insights that are shared by our teachers about their experience working abroad or teaching at the Basis International Schools. You'll be able to kind of gain their insights on what living and teaching abroad within the Basis curriculum schools. There's different experiences they have, both within the classroom, their personal experience of what teach abroad and what the experience has been like for them. And of course, you can always join us on social. You can check us out on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and of course, see additional videos and information that's on our YouTube channel as well. Great. That brings us to the end point of the presentation. Just a couple questions that did come in. First off is, what types of positions do we have available? And the types of positions that we have available will vary from school to school. So that's where, as Michael mentioned, we do recommend going to our career site. We do post all open positions to our career site. You can see what positions there are, apply directly to those, or take a look at the specific locations that you're most interested in. If there's not a position that is within your specific specialty or subject or type of role, always submit your resume for consideration for future opportunities. Question also kind of came up specific to the types of positions in administration. Again, it will vary from school to school, but I can say that some of the positions in administration that we're looking to fill for this upcoming school year, deans of students,